From American actors who became governors, the former elected president, the latter known for
I'll be back.
to Chima and Chinua, two of Africa's most famous authors who, though not related by some freaky coincidence, lived in the same house several years apart, and sadly, things did fall apart. Two American T. Ribs and German M. Schumacher, Formula One aficionados, born on the same day. For America's first black ballerina, to Robert Ballard. From Indian author, teacher of yoga, BKS Iyengar, who teaches us that we are not getting any younger, to the drama in Bahama and the rumble in the jungle, a killer and a chiller and the thriller in Manila. From Malala and Lilibeth, the former whose son almost set in the SWAT district from an assassin's bullet, the latter Her Royal Majesty, whose empire the sun, it was said, never set, to the exquisite beauty of our expansive, expanding, and majestic universe. Whatever takes your fancy, there's something for everyone right here, right now. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sotonye Afiesimama and this is Today in History for the 20th of January. Join me as we journey through history and I share important events as recorded on this day in history. Coming up in today's Today in History, as promised yesterday, this individual amassed the world's largest privately owned shipping fleet. Also, it was swearing-in day for 3. Finally, a famous, very talented actress from Belgium. And of course, there's lots more. So, did you get the answer to these questions from yesterday? Stick around and all will be revealed in today's Today in History. First, we shall start with the year 1778. So, this was the year that this guy named Captain James Cook landed at Waimea on Kauai Island, becoming the first European to visit Hawaii. So on this day in 1778, Captain James Cook landed in Hawaii. You can see that from this picture here. Beautiful painting, with vivid colors, painting commemorating this historic visit. Again, another beautiful painting, very pastel-like watercolor. Looks like watercolor, probably not watercolor, probably oil paint made to look like watercolor. Beautiful painting, very atmospheric. I guess that's the right description. Last but not least, it's another painting here. Again, vivid colors, probably by the artist who painted the first picture. So, again, illustrating this historic occasion. On this day in 1778, Captain Cook lands in Hawaii. On this day, January 20th. Let's move on to the year 1892. On this day, the first basketball game was played in Springfield, Massachusetts by the YMCA students. So YMCA, for those of you who don't know, stands for Young Men's Christian Association. So this is the first official basketball game that was played on this day. You can see the interesting basket. I mean, what do you expect? It's basketball. That's the title of the game. Title is not the right word. That's the name of the game, basketball. So you have a basket there, a traditional basket. It doesn't have a hole at the bottom, so the ball gets in there. I guess each time the ball gets into the basket, someone has to reach in to bring it out. And they thought, this is not working. We better make a hole at the bottom so that the ball can go through. And the game of basketball was born on this day. And obviously, it's gone through a lot of changes. It has evolved through time, and the rules have changed. So on and so forth. The basket obviously has changed as well. You have a net now, but it's still called basketball, not netball. That's quite interesting, So anyway, basketball, the first official basketball game was played in Springfield, Massachusetts on this day in 1892 by YMCA students. The game's inventor was James Naismith, James A. Naismith. On this day, yes, I did mention this at the beginning. I said he amassed the world's largest privately owned shipping fleet, and his name was Aristotle Socrates Onassis. He was a Greek shipping magnate. He owned the world's largest privately owned shipping fleet and was one of the world's richest and most famous men. So Aristotle Onassis was born on this day in 1906. And for those of you who don't know, he also married the widow of President Kennedy, who was assassinated, so I think in the 70s or so, about a decade after she lost her husband, Aristotle Onassis married Jackie Kennedy. So again, Aristotle Onassis was born on this day. If he had lived, he would have been 100 and born in 1906, so 21 minus 6, 115 years old. So I guess it's a happy posthumous birthday for Aristotle Onassis, his family, who descendants obviously remembering him on this day, the birth of a Greek shipping magnate, Aristotle Onassis. I'm going to scroll up and show you a quote, which I wouldn't say I agree with 100%, and I'll tell you why. It says to be successful, you must act big. I agree with that. Think big. I agree with that. And talk big. Now, the talk big part, is he talking about talking big in the sense that you're thinking big, and that has translated to your talking big. So talking big in the sense that not the sort of talking big where you're proud, you're pompous. If it's not that sort of talk big, he is referring to, then I agree with him. So talk big in the sense that you have ambition, you want to do great things in life. So in that sense, I agree with him. Not the sort of talk, vacuous, big talk that doesn't lead you anywhere. Give people the impression that you're all that and you have no substance. That's not what I agree with. But yes, I'm assuming he agrees with my latter definition of talking big. Anyway, so to be successful, you must act big, definitely. You must think big and talk big. So talk big in the sense that you talk about your ambitions, you talk about what you want to do, and you go ahead and do it. You don't just talk and then there's nothing to show for it. Okay, let's go to the next event as recorded on this day in history. Next, we have Buzz Aldrin, American astronaut Buzz Aldrin, born on this day in Montclair, New Jersey, and the year was 1930. So, you can read about him in this poster here. The Space Center, Houston, it says Apollo 50. Edwin Buzz Aldrin, born January 20th, 1930 in Glen Ridge, New Jersey. Aldrin was part of the third astronaut class in 1963 and flew on Apollo 11 and Gemini 12. He was the second man to walk on the moon, earned his doctorate in aeronautics, from MIT, with thesis titled Line of Sight Guidance Techniques for Manned Orbital Rendezvous. flew 66 combat missions in the Korean War. Wow. Acting credits include, I wait for this, The Big Bang Theory, one of my favorite comedies of all time, Transformers, Dark Side of the Moon, and voice roles on The Simpsons and Futurama. So I'm going to check out the cameo appearance he made on The Big Bang Theory. I haven't seen that. I need to go check it out. So I guess all I need to do is just Google it up or go to YouTube. Yeah. Anyway, so this is Buzz Aldrin, who was born on this day in 1930. Sadly, he passed on not too long ago, a few years ago. So I guess his family and friends, close friends, will be remembering him on this day, the 20th of January. Again, American astronaut Buzz Aldrin, born on this day in Montclair, New Jersey, United States of America. Yes, next we have an answer to one of our questions, one of our 3 questions. And I did say 3 were sworn in on this day. Let me find the exact phrase that I used at the beginning. So I said it was also swearing in day for 3. So this is one of the 3 sworn in on this day, and his name is Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He was inaugurated for an unprecedented 4th term in office. 2 other presidents were inaugurated on this day. But before that, we have a Belgian-born British actress, Audrey Hepburn, the stunningly beautiful Audrey Hepburn, who created unforgettable film roles as the epitome of sophistication and glamour, while paradoxically bewitching audiences and critics with her sprightly mannerisms and elfin charm. Sadly died on this day in 1993 in Switzerland. So yes, this is also one of the answers to the question earlier, and that question was a famous, very talented actress from Belgium. So this is the answer to one of the questions at the top, beginning of this video. The lady is Audrey Hepburn, actress, Belgian-born British actress, who sadly passed on this day. She created unforgettable film roles as the epitome of sophistication and glamour, while paradoxically bewitching audiences and critics with her sprightly mannerisms and elfin charm. Audrey Hepburn sadly passed on this day. Her hearts go out to her family, close friends, who will be remembering her today. Yeah. All right, let's move on now to the next president who was inaugurated on this day, sworn in, Barack Obama, of course. The year was 2009. Sworn in as president, the 44th president of the United States of America, becoming, of course, the first African American to hold this office. So you can see a picture here, proud Michelle, with George swearing the 44th president of the United States in on this day, the first African American to become president of the United States. Also, of course, last but not least, Donald J. Trump was sworn in on this day in 2017 as the 45th president of the United States. It was an unprecedented, unexpected victory over Democrat Hillary Clinton, who actually, if you remember, won the popular vote. But because of the electoral college system in America, she lost to Donald Trump. So Republican Donald Trump sworn in as the 45th president of the United States on this day. On that note, we have come to the end of today's Today in History. But before we go, coming up in tomorrow's Today in History, a famous fashion designer. Also, the first woman in the United States to have both a mechanic's license and a commercial pilot's license. Also, traveling at supersonic speed, it made history on this day, and lots more, of course. See you tomorrow. Stay safe, folks. Thanks for dropping by once again. If you haven't liked this video yet and you do like it, give me a thumbs up. Share this with your family and friends. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.